The Pokemon Company has released a ton of great designs already in Generation 9. At this point, I'm expecting every Pokemon released to set the bar even higher for great designs. But I think the Pokemon community has named its favorite designs for the Paldea region so far with the release of these two phenomenal Pokemon, Ceruledge and Armarouge. Ceruledge specifically has already worked its way into the top 10 list of many fans, and it is easy to see why. These Fire Ghost and Fire Psychic Pokemon are fantastic designs, but today I want to talk about the lore and possible origins of these amazing Pokemon. They are Mega Man characters. End of video. I just wanted to get that out of the way so it wasn't every comment underneath this video. Let's get to the actual origins and watch to the end to see some incredible origins for both of these Pokemon. First thing is first, and probably the most obvious design element is that these two Pokemon are based off the fantasy idea of enchanted or living armor. We see this on the Pokemon Company site where it says Ceruledge's armor is steeped in grudges and Armarouge's armor belonged to a distinguished warrior. Another important thing to note about this is that it isn't any old suit of armor. It is very reflective of older Spanish armor with heavy breastplating and helmets that have a feather or plume on them, as shown with the flame on the back of these Pokemon's heads. However, I think there is more to the design than just living armor. I think we see direct inspirations from several pieces of Spanish culture. The first inspiration can be seen in Armarouge's pauldrons. These pauldrons lower down their arms to become one large cannon and allows them to use their signature move, Armor Cannon. I think that this is directly tied to artillery that was prevalent in Spanish culture during the Age of Exploration, as the most powerful naval force for over a century. The Spanish Armada made use of cannons regularly on their ships while attempting to be the first in many navigation, exploration, and economic feats. Basing a Pokemon on their ship's defense mechanism during these times makes complete sense. When it comes to Ceruledge, I think the inspiration comes from a very specific town in Spain called Toledo. Craftsmen in Toledo have for a long time been world-renowned makers of swords. Toledo's steel is known as being extremely hard. The sword making in Toledo is done by ancient Spanish processes that are very strict, and while I won't go into specifics about this process, it made the weapon strong, rare, and desirable. Toledo's steel was fundamental in sword craftsmanship since Roman Empire times, so it is easy to see why a sword-wielding Pokemon makes a good fit in this Iberian-inspired game. There is one more important factor that I want to touch on for the inspiration of these Pokemon, and that is military tactics. The Pokemon website states that Ceruledge prefers close quarters combat and isn't above using tactics such as sneak attacks and surprise attacks to win a battle, while Armarouge believes in a fair fight and will challenge an opponent head on no matter how much stronger that opponent is. This may just seem like something they added in to tie these two Pokemon together in a more intentional manner, but I think it is directly related to military tactics that have been tied to the Iberian culture for centuries. Armarouge is a great example of Spanish chivalry. While chivalry, despite common beliefs, isn't all it's made up to be, or as nice as it seems, it does carry with it a certain perspective that modern people still hold it to. That perspective is that chivalry was about upholding a moral code, doing what's right, and standing up for those who need it. Armarouge absolutely seems to abide by a knightly moral code and refuses to cheat in a fight according to the Pokemon website. While chivalry did not get invented in Spain, it certainly took Spain by storm and was utilized heavily throughout this country. This is where we get Spanish pop culture characters that uphold a severe moral code like Inigo Montoya from The Princess Bride, and why the book Don Quixote was even written to make satire over chivalry in Spain, because it was just so prominent in the culture. However, when we look at what the Pokemon site has to say about Ceruledge, it is anything but chivalrous. It plays dirty, it ambushes, it sabotages. If only there was a term for that. Oh wait, like guerrilla warfare or guerrilla tactics. This term was first used in the Peninsula War despite the idea being much older. This war involved several countries in the Iberian Peninsula such as Spain, Portugal, and France. Not on the same side though. The term guerrilla warfare got the name from the Spanish word for war, guerra. Sorry on my pronunciation by the way. And it involved tactics like ambushing, raids, and hit and run tactics. All methods that can be used to give someone an upper hand by playing a little unfair, we'll say. It is extremely easy to see how Ceruledge takes direct inspiration from guerrilla tactics. All in all, we can see how Armarouge and Ceruledge are not only fantastic Pokemon designs, but also how they take direct inspiration from the Iberian culture. I, for one, am a big fan of both of these Pokemon and will definitely be using them on both of my playthroughs. But what about you? Do you like these designs? And which one do you prefer more? Let me know down in the comments. If you like this video, then make sure to check out this one where I explain even weirder Pokemon and their weirder connections. Thank you so much for subscribing because I know you already did during this video, and thank you for watching. I will catch you next time when the adventure continues.